Hi guys, I'm Marisa, brand ambassador for Brother Home Sewing and Embroidery. And today I'm super excited to show you my new project. It is a customized skirt with an embroidered sash, and I created it all on the Innov-Is 990D combination sewing and embroidery machine. It features a variety of different paisley patterns, which I downloaded and purchased on Embroidered.com and loaded them onto my machine via the handy USB port. And they give it a really nice, beautiful effect. So there's tons of different embroidered designs to shop from on Embroidered.com, so you could really customize this skirt to your unique particular style or occasion. It's got a wide waistband, which is very slimming and cute, and it even features two little covered buttons which are coordinating, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is measure around your waist 1.5 times. Then you're going to double that number and cut a long strip that is that dimension, and then you're going to make the height of that strip based on how long you want your skirt. And be sure to factor in about 3 inches for your hem and your gathering. And I went ahead and hemmed my skirt prior to assembling the whole thing. The machine makes it really easy to know which presser foot to select, and the handy guidelines keep you on track with your seam allowance. After that, I went ahead and folded over the ends of the long strip and hemmed them in the similar fashion as I did the bottom of my skirt, and finished it off in the corners as shown. Next, you're ready to begin the gathering process. I selected a basting stitch and loaded my machine with a contrasting white thread. With the needle in the upright position, I pulled the threads so I had a long piece to hang on to, and then stitched all the way down the length of my piece, and again pulled it at the end so I had another long piece at the other end. I repeated this step with another row of basting stitches, and then I did the same thing a third time by sewing in between the 2 stitches that I'd just sewn and pulling the threads long again. And be sure to remember to not backstitch on any of your basting lines. Now you're ready to begin gathering. You're going to separate the top 3 threads from the bottom 3 threads and pull them along as shown. Then you are going to continue this process on each side of your skirt and even out the length of the gathers based on your original measurement of 1.5 times around your waist. And then you're going to iron it flat. And it helps to tie little knots at the end to keep your measurements on track. Now we are ready to begin assembling the waistband for our skirt. I created a piece of fabric that was 12 inches by the measurement that goes around my waist and iron on a piece of iron-on stabilizer to the back. I used the included grid sheet to mark out my embroidery area, and then I swapped out the sewing table for the embroidery unit. And then I put on my embroidery foot. With my hoop on my machine, I accessed the USB, which holds all of my designs from Embroidered.com. I scrolled through and selected the design and clicked the little pocket to get it onto my machine. Then I went ahead and adjusted the layout and the size to get my embroidery design as I wanted it, and went ahead and used the handy check feature to make sure that my embroidery is going to be placed in the correct position. After I checked to make sure my design was all set up, I went ahead and clicked the green button and began doing my machine embroidery of paisleys in varying different shapes and sizes and designs. And you could also customize this skirt using whatever designs you like. There are tons of amazing designs that you can download and purchase on Embroidery.com. So you can really customize this skirt to suit your own individual style. And as you can see, my first paisley is coming out really good. And then once I finished my first paisley, I went ahead again and used the included grid sheet to figure out where to position my next paisley. And again, I used that handy check feature to make sure that my embroidered designs would not be overlapping each other or going outside of my intended embroidery area. And then I simply continued this process, working my way down the strip to make it completely covered in beautiful paisley designs. The included grid sheet makes it really easy to avoid any mistakes, and it makes it super convenient. And then you are just going to continue this process as you go along, moving your hoop down the strip and adding more and more designs to suit your liking. And as you can see here, I am almost done filling up my panel with beautiful paisleys. You can see the markings from the hoop as I've moved it along, and I will be ironing that out when I am finished, and I am just about finished. Yep, the machine tells us when we are finished sewing. So my next step is to create some customized covered buttons. I created a similar panel in a smaller size and went ahead and embroidered a coordinating paisley onto that. And then I simply followed the manufacturer's instructions to cover the buttons with the covered button kit. Then I ironed out my embroidered panel and created a second panel of a slightly shorter size and sewed the two together. Then I used a process of folding and ironing on all the raw edges to create a pocket to then insert my gathered skirt into. Once I had that all prepared, I went ahead and pinned it and sewed everything in place prior to attaching the full skirt. I used the gathered piece as a guide to make sure that everything would fit inside the pocket, and then I went ahead and top stitched the gathered skirt in place. Next, I attached my buttonholer foot and sewed the two buttonholes for my customized covered buttons. And here you can see my buttonholes being sewn from front to back, beginning on the little white mark which I placed using some tailor's chalk. Next, you're going to open up your buttonholes with a hobby knife and then try on your skirt to determine where to locate your special customized covered buttons. Then you are going to attach another button to the inside of your skirt to hold the wrap skirt in place, and use the same method to determine where to locate your inner button. Once you've hand sewn your buttons in place, you are finished and you've created your own customized embroidered skirt with a fancy sash.